Roman was acting weird. Penn had noticed it over the last few weeks. Maybe he was sick? He didn't seem sick. Something was definitely fishy, and Patton was determined to get to the bottom of it. He walked to Logan's room a short while after he watched Roman drag Virgil into the imagination. It was suspicious to say the least. Patton knocked on the door once he reached it, earning permission to enter. Logan was sitting at his desk, looking over his planner to see where to add a few extra activities. He looked up as the moral side entered, curious of his reason for seeing him. "Yes, Patton?" he asked, taking note of the other's expression. "Something's up." Patton got straight to the point, despite his gayness. "With Roman, and maybe Virgil, I can tell. I just feel really suspicious right now." He looked at Logan, awaiting his reaction. "What do you suggest?" the logical side asked finally, making Patton sigh in relief that he didn't sound crazy. The shorter thought for a moment, determining that he thought would be the best course of action. Roman brought anxiety to the imagination about an hour ago. He started, fingers on his chin. "I think I want to follow them, just see what is going on. I'm sure that I'm just overreacting. We'll just see what they're up to and leave them alone." Logan nodded and stood, motioning Patton towards the door. "If it will give you a peace of mind," Logan nodded, a small smile on his lips. Patton led the way down the stairs into the door to the imagination, Logan very close behind. Their hands were gently intertwined as Patton pulled the slightly older side along. A white, blinding light washed over them upon entering the realm, replaced with a dark sky over a lit-up, strange but familiar village. The air smelled of mint and cinnamon, and it was slightly chilly. Multiple small fires lined the stone-bricked streets around which small groups of people gathered to warm up for a bit. "Oh, this place is beautiful!" Patton exclaimed as he looked around in excitement. Logan hummed in agreement before materializing 2 sweaters for them to wear. The moral side thanked him before sliding one on. He shook his head, getting back to the task at hand. They could always explore the new town after finding the creative and anxious sides. "Where would you reckon they are?" Logan asked, now realizing how large the landscape was. The village itself wasn't too large, but it could still take quite a while to find them, especially if they moved around. It would be very easy to miss them within the buzzing crowd. Though it was dark out, everything was lit up by the orange lanterns and crackling fires. Penn had to admit that it was perfect autumn atmosphere. He felt as though he could get a nice cup of cocoa and curl up by one of the fires with a big blanket. "Maybe we should check the castle," he responded. "It would at least give us a smaller area to search, and even if they're not there, they probably would arrive eventually." It sounded like a good enough logic to him. The taller sighed and nodded, looking towards the large castle. "Then let's go." The pair walked through the halls of Roman's palace, admiring the new build of it. Patton started to wonder why Roman hadn't invited them all to come to see everything, and became a little guilty as another thought crossed his mind. What if they weren't meant to see it yet? What if this was all a surprise and he just wanted Anxiety's help? What if they just ruined it? He snapped out of his thoughts, however, when his eyes landed on an open door leading to a stairway. Curiosity took over him, and he pointed to it. "Let's go this way," he exclaimed, and skipped to the entryway. They followed the dark, twisted staircase to a dark hall. Many of the windows were open, filling the space with a constant breeze. Penn was about to say something when he heard a muffled voice. Though unable to make out the words, Logan also held notice to it. The moral and logical sides walked quietly to the believed source of the sound. Penn's eyebrows raised in curiosity when it led them to a room lit with many candles. The balcony was open, and moonlight oozed through, revealing the silhouettes of 2 people. "Oh, we found them!" Patton thought excitedly. He and Logan walked into the room and immediately froze in shock. Roman and Virgil were, in fact, on that balcony, but it wasn't exactly what the pair was expecting. Roman's hands were wrapped around the anxious side's hips, Virgil's around the taller's shoulders, and they were kissing. And not a short and sweet kiss. but a long and passionate one. Very, very long. The newcomers stood in disbelief for what felt like hours. Logan was first to come to his senses, starting to pull Patton out of the room to avoid being discovered. Patton caught a glimpse of the couple laughing as Roman spun the smaller around, making him smile as they escaped. Back home, Patton practically collapsed on the couch. "So, I would guess they are dating," Logan stated, not really sure if he should feel anything specific about this new information. An anger started to rise in the fatherly figure, just a bit of protective feelings over his strange dark son that he couldn't help. But the picture of the two holding on to one another, smiling ear to ear, quickly dissipated it. It was their lives. Penn had to respect their decisions. If this was what they wanted, he would not get in the way of it. Besides, they looked absolutely adorable. He didn't think he even had the strength to break up the scene like that. Penn leaned against the couch and closed his eyes, smiling about what he had just learned. He could live with this. But if Roman breaks his kitten's heart, he's gonna have a bad time.